You caught me red-handed. I am noshing on one of these crispy, chewy pieces of tofu that I just made for this episode, The Vegan Good Life with Miyoko. This is a sheet pan tofu dinner, and it is delicious and oh so simple. You just need this magic jar of seasoning. This is the seasoning that goes into my famous unturkey, and the recipe is here in the Vegan Meat Cookbook for the unturkey. It's the unturkey seasoning made out of nutritional yeast and about 15 different spices and herbs, and it is so full of umami and delicious. And when you dip pieces of tofu in it and then bake it, it gets crispy remarkably. So it's gluten-free as well. Absolutely delicious. The tofu changes texture in the oven. As you can see, the tofu changes texture, full of air pockets. It's chewy. It's absolutely magnificent. And that crispy exterior, it is just something you want to throw into your mouth. So, shall we get started? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is be making the seasoning. As I mentioned earlier, this is the same unturkey seasoning. This is the special seasoning that gives the unturkey my Thanksgiving treat, that oomph. It's in my Vegan Meat Cookbook. It was in my very first cookbook from the Now and Zen Epicure from 1990. Yes, when some of you weren't even born. But anyway, so I have to look at the book myself because I don't have the ingredients memorized. But we're going to start out with 2 cups of nutritional yeast, which is going to go right into my blender jar right here. And then there's all kinds of spices and herbs in it. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sea salt. 1 and 2. Okay, that was all of that. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. So we're going with the 2 tablespoon ingredients first, of which there are quite a few. So 1, 2. And then 2 tablespoons of onion powder. And that is slightly congealed. I think the moisture kind of did its thing. So I'm just going to kind of hack at it. All right. All right, next I've got 2 tablespoons of dry thyme. All right, so I've got large jars of herbs. Yes, I do. All right, and I got all of these herbs from the San Francisco Herb Company. They've got great prices and good quality herbs. Now I'm going to go to 2 tablespoons of celery seed in this jar. So these are ground. And celery seed is really critical to providing that sort of what they call poultry seasoning. Usually has sage, thyme, celery seed. Okay, now I'm going to add some sage. Speaking of the next ingredient, see if you can. And this is the last 2 tablespoon ingredient in here. And then we go down to teaspoons. So 2 tablespoons of sage. All right, next we're going to go to 2 teaspoons of dried rosemary, 2 teaspoons of dried tarragon. Okay. Oh, you know what? I put in 2 tablespoons. I was only supposed to put in 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to take a little bit of that out. You know, that's Miyoko for you. When she's yakking away, she gets things wrong. All right, 2 teaspoons of dried marjoram. 2 teaspoons. Now, marjoram is an herb that's sort of like oregano, but it's better than oregano. 2 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of paprika. That's probably 2 teaspoons right there, a little bit more. There. And finally, a teaspoon of turmeric and a teaspoon of ground ginger. Okay, now we are just going to blend all of this up into a nice powder. Oh, ooh, it smells wonderful, although a little bit went into my nose. Okay. All right, we're ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so I got my herb mixture done. What I'm going to do now is dip and dip again and then bake. So we're going to take chunks of tofu. So I have this is sort of a medium tofu. It's actually from Trader Joe's. I really like their tofu. It's not too firm. You want something sort of medium, and I'm just going to tear off chunks like this. You can cut these into cubes if you like, or pieces, but I kind of like to tear it like this so I have these uneven surfaces that just fry up beautifully. So bake fry, that is. You could do this in an air fryer as well, although I have always done it in just an oven. I can tell you that when I had a company called Now and Zen back in the 1990s, we had a lot of tofu. We used a lot of tofu in some of our products, in cakes and things like that. And the staff, they absolutely loved this, and they would make it themselves for lunch. It's like, oh, okay, we can do this with the unturkey seasonings and the tofu we have, and we got lunch for everybody. All right, so now I've got these big chunks of tofu here, and I'm going to dip it in my my seasoning mixture, and then I'm just going to kind of coat it in oil. Dip, coat, and bake. So make sure you get all that lovely seasoning covering every single crevice of the tofu. It's going to add not only flavor, but it's going to add texture. The nutritionally kind of cooks up sort of like flour. It's going to be really, really crispy and delicious. And you're coating it in the oil, and then we're going to be baking it like this. So I like having these uneven pieces of tofu, different sizes, different shapes slightly. And so it just adds more interest, and they just look better than just nicely, evenly cut cubes of tofu. Okay, and now these are ready to go in the oven and get crispy. Okay, at the last minute, I realized I had these fingerling potatoes. I'm going to add these also to the pan and just roast them up at the same time. Okay, I'm just going to coat the potatoes in this lovely mixture as well. Give them all this flavor, toss in a little bit of oil, and we'll just sort of intersperse that around the tofu. With the tofu, the potatoes, all you need is a green salad, and you've got a lovely, complete meal. And you've let the oven do almost all the work. Okay, I'm going to put my sheet pan tofu and potatoes in the oven, 425 degrees. Okay, my sheet pan dinner is ready. I just need a big green salad to go with this. Oh my God, I've got crispy tofu, potatoes. I'm just going to put it on a platter, make a big salad, and call it dinner. So I used to take this tofu to potlucks, school potlucks and things all the time, and I would overhear people saying, that tofu is so good, so delicious, and these weren't vegan. So this is a really wonderful way to introduce people to tofu. My sheet pan dinner is ready. I put it on a bale of hay. I put it on a bed, we'll put it that way. I put it on a bed of kale and some other greens that I picked from the garden just a few minutes ago. Dressed it with a little bit of lemon juice and olive oil, so it's like a salad, and I've got a complete meal here. I may want a little bit more veggies to go along with it, but otherwise, I've got my potatoes, I've got my tofu, I've got my greens. I mean, who could ask for anything more, right? Well, you've joined me again for another episode of The Vegan Good Life with Miyoko. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.